since I don't do a lot of material textures, Mr. Karim here has more knowledge in that. I'll be just showing you your way around the material editor in Unreal, and Karim will also be something to say.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you please install GIMP or Photoshop if you don't have them already?
Yeah. Okay.
ممكن نوصل 10 بالنسبة نشغلهم كجهاز واحد.
Do SLI for you. I don't even know if these have a. I think they're integrated in graphics. We're running the Unreal Engine. It's like 2 frames per second. And before we get you probably don't have Unreal installed. Did I install it here? Yeah.
Can you go to that? Sure. So I think people at the back should come forward a bit. It's blurry. I don't know if you see very well. Okay, so for materials, you guys with me? Okay. Let's assume we have the textures now. Karim will be doing texture work with you as well as the material work we're going to be doing. But I'm going to be giving you an overview of how to create materials and what are the important nodes and stuff that we can use. We're just going to be testing on a test material code, and we're going to apply it to a sphere for now, but we can apply it to more of the models we're going to be developing later. Okay, so first, the content browser we have here.
Can I just say a couple things?
Yeah.
Guys, first off, is there anyone who doesn't have, everyone has a laptop? Okay. Well, going after that, if you guys don't have it already, try and if you have Photoshop, that's fine. If not, download GIMP, and if you're using one of these computers, get the standalone version, so you don't have to have administrative privileges to install. So basically, just get GIMP. It's a program that lets you create textures and stuff like that.
GIMP, G-I-M-P. It's like pimp, but it's GIMP. Okay, so yeah, the content browser. Let's create a folder and press a right click. Dude. Okay, I hope you catch up here. Alright, so I'm just gonna create a new folder. And I'm gonna call it materials. And for some reason, paste it in this folder. Go to content and then create a new folder here. And I'm going to call it materials. And then go into your material folder and press right click, and you'll find material here, a new material. Okay.
What حاجة, does everyone know what a material is? Is there anyone who doesn't know what a material is?
I think we explained it before, but you don't know? Okay.
ليش كده فرق بين التكستشر والثيري؟
Yeah, the texture is just a simple image. A material is like when you take this image and you apply operations for maybe casting what Karim I think explained before is specular. So it's like shininess and stuff, or maybe if it's an emissive material you want it to light up and stuff like that. If you have a lava kind of effect going on, then you need to be animating a picture. You're going to be animating the picture to be moving in a certain direction, for example. These all operations are going to be done in the material. Because texture is just an image. Okay? When you press on the material that we just created, it's going to open the material editor. Okay? With a big note here. Are you guys following? Okay. We open this? Okay. So there are a lot of operations that you can do here. Of course, we're not going to be going over all of them, but I'm going to be giving you the important ones, or the ones we're going to be using the most. So let's start with the texture sample. Okay. If you right click here and you type texture sample, it's going to give you that. It's a node that has something called the UVs, and it has all these pins coming out of it. This is the RGB pin, so it's if you take this output, you're going to have the image. This is the red channel, this is the green channel, this is the blue channel of the image, and this is the alpha. It's for transparency and stuff like that. So for the texture sample, we're going to be putting our image here, and if we need any of these channels, or if we need the channels combined, we're going to be using this pin. So let's see. And here's a sphere, but it's just not so clear in this screen here. All right, let's delete this texture sample and select a texture from the content browser. So I'll just minimize the editor. I'll go to my content browser, and then we should have the starter content folder. Go for starter content. You should have textures. They're all images, just images. So I'm just gonna scale them a bit so you guys can see better. So you'll have a lot of images here, and you'll have many different versions of the same image. So this is the diffuse map. This is a normal map. I'm not sure if Karim explained what a normal and the specular and all that. You explained that before, right? Okay, so the normal map, it's usually bluish in color like that, and it's just an approximation of how light reflects from this surface. So usually a game artist or a game modeler would create a very high polygon model of a character or a wall or a rock or anything, okay? But we cannot use the high polygon model in the game. It would be very inefficient. So it will go through a process where we decrease this number of polygons, but before we do that, we bake something called the normal map. So this is just to fake the effects of the low polygon model being high polygon. Are you guys following? We're just faking it, faking light. So it's gonna look as if it has a lot of details, but it's just a low polygon model. And there are many different kinds of maps. I think this is a mask, since it has M, D since it has the diffuse, and N since it has the normal. We're gonna look at what mask can do later on. So for now, I'm just gonna just press once on the diffuse map of the brick wall, and then I'm gonna go back to my material editor. And there is a shortcut for this texture sample we just used, which is T. Makes sense, like texture. If you press T, you keep pressing T, and then you press left click, you're gonna have a texture sample pop out with the texture we just selected. So if you guys remember, the whole pressing once in the content editor and going back in the material editor, for example, it will just pick the thing you were selecting. So if I want to view this texture on this sphere we have here, I'm gonna take the RGB output and hook it up with the base color. So let's do this. You can see now that it has the brick texture on it, but it's just like wrapped around it. It feels so artificial and doesn't have any, it doesn't feel like it has any depth information in it. So what we will do is we can hook up the normal map, the one that fakes, things having details, and it will start having this rocky feeling. We can test that now. Again, go to the content browser, and there's the brick wall normal. I'm just gonna press it, and then go back to the material editor, hold T, and then left click. So we have the normal map here. Then I'm just gonna drag the RGB output of the normal map, and I'm gonna connect it to normal. So now it feels a bit rough. There feels like there are actual bricks on the thing. Are you guys noticing the difference? If I remove this, it's like an image. It's like I took an image and I just grabbed the ball with it. But when I connect the normal map, it starts having depth information. So this is a cool trick, and it's done in all games. There are no high polygon models in games, not like the movies. This is a good trick to just to give the feeling that this model has a lot of details in it. Okay, so moving on. If you have any problems, please stop me, because we have some notes to go over before we're done. Okay, so this is it for the texture sample. There's something called let's see, multiply. So what do you think this will do if you multiply a texture times a constant, for example? What will it do? No. Multiply the values of the colors. Exactly, it will brighten it up a bit, and if you multiply it by a fraction, it will start to make it darker and stuff like that. But we can also multiply pictures by each other, and this will give us some cool effects as well. So we might multiply the brick wall by a texture that has some noise in it, for example, and it will start giving us dirt on the wall. So we can test it now. So what I did here, I just right-click and I typed multiply, and it comes under the category math. All right. So I'll go back again and select the diffuse map of the brick wall. Go back to the material editor. I'll press D and then left click. So I got my brick wall here. I'll connect it to the input A. And yeah, you'll notice there is a small arrow here. If you press it, it will start giving you a preview of the current, of what this operation is actually outputting at the moment. And yeah, make sure you select live nodes and live updates, so that it keeps updating all the time. Yeah.
ممكن not interrupt. لسه جاي متأخر.
What's the problem?
لا عشان اوصل بس للحته انت فيها عشان جيت متاخر
Okay.
عشان ما لحقتش في الاول خالص.
repeat ايه طيب؟
لا انا قلت لك ريبيت من الاول خالص عايز بس الحته اللي قبل فيها.
يعني اللي انا بعمله دلوقتي يعني؟
لا هو اصلا مش في الماتيريال اديتور اصلا.
فعلا.
Okay, so are you guys following with this, or you're... Yes. Please. Am I going too fast?
How did I get this texture from the material from the sample?
You go in the content editor, the content browser, sorry. لا, the textures. And then you have all the textures. Okay. We have the brick wall. Now we need to have some bit of dirt on the wall. So we're gonna multiply it by a picture or a texture that has noise in it. And there is one in the content browser as well. We minimize the editor and go back here and scroll down a bit. We should find one that has just search for it.
Let me create a multiply.
Yeah, grime. Feels a bit dirty. So I'll just press on it and I'll go back to the editor. Press D and then keep pressing D and then press left click. So I get the new texture sample. And then I take the RGB output and plug it in the B input. It's not what we expected, yeah.
I guess intense شوية يعني.
Maybe it wasn't the brightest idea. We can try another one, for example, the Berlin noise. And there is one called Berlin noise. Yeah. Again, it's not the perfect thing, but I'll show you how to get a good amount of dirt appearing on the wall. In a second, I was just showing you the effect of multiplication. So what's happening is that if you multiply, you know how a picture is composed, right? It has in each pixel values from 0 to 255, okay, in each channel. So if you multiply a white thing by a picture, it will just give you a whiter or a brighter thing. If you multiply a dark thing by this picture, it will probably give you a darker spot. So this is why the result is not so nice. It has a lot of dark places. When we multiplied it by this already dark image, it got even darker. So maybe multiply was not the best idea to introduce this dirt effect. But there is another node that we can try. So these are all like arithmetic operations that you can do to make a lot of effects. We're gonna see about other stuff. Let's try the add. So the add will basically add two pictures together. But let's find a picture that we can actually use to demonstrate what add will do. So I'll go back to textures. Maybe this one. Don't be fooled by how this image looks, because it has the three different channels. We're only interested in one of them. If I press on the texture itself, okay, if I double click it, it will open the texture, okay? And then I can go for view and then I can deselect some of the channels being displayed. So if I remove the blue channel, and if I remove the red channel, then we have this. The green channel is only having this image. Okay? So if I take this texture and I place it in a texture sample, and I just take the green output, okay, and add it to the brick wall, I'm gonna have this circle on the brick wall. You see what I'm saying? Because we're gonna add all the black 0 plus the image, it will just give us the image, because we're not adding anything to the image, and white to the image will just give us the white. So I'll just show you what's the effect. So I'm selecting the texture here, and I go back to the material editor. I hold T and press left click. Alright. Then I'll take the RGB value from the brick wall, and I'll take the green channel only, and I'll add them. And you see what happens? Only the white circle came out. So this is also another technique for like efficiency reasons. Sometimes you just need to compress stuff, so you have this sort of a mask where each channel will have different data for you that might be of interest. So in this case, maybe you wanted to have this circle appear on the wall for some weird reason. So it's a cool operation. So we looked at the adds, the multiply, and the texture sample. There's another cool thing called the lerp, and we can look at it now. So you right click.
This is the basic
and
color.
you
Control
type
the
lerp.
actual color that's not being given up. It's not
So it's
connected
called
to
linear interpolate. Okay.
the app.
Now, what does lerp do?
Has it-
We basically assign two pictures in the A and B inputs, and the alpha is a value from 0 and 1, between 0 and 1. If it's 0, it's the first picture. If it's 1, it's the second picture. If it's anything in between, it will be a mixture of both. So this is how we can introduce the dirt to the wall. If we apply the wall texture here, and then we apply the Perlin noise, for example, in this, and then we we can play with the values. I'll show you how this can be done. So I'll just remove this texture we had here. I'll go back. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Search for Perlin. Okay. Selected. Go back to the material editor. Hold T and press left click. Alright, so I'll just grab a link from the RGB to the A, and I'll grab a link from the RGB of this texture to the B. Oh, my bad, sorry. I made a mistake. We need to add dirt, not the Perlin noise. So the dirt was the growing texture thing. Grime. It's a bit dirty. So back here, and I hook it up into the B inputs. Alright, and I can press the arrow here to see what's the final input output. If you want to see this output on the sphere, you can right click and press start previewing mode. It will give you the final effect. But as you see, since the alpha is a constant now, it's 0.5, it's just a mixture of both, like an even mixture of both. We need to see the wall more than the dirt. So we pick a value that is closer to 0, so it's closer to the first image.
Can you repeat the steps that how to add two pictures? في الستبس نفسها معتزلة
had two pictures ايه؟
اللي هو ازاي حطيت البيكتشر بتاعت الديرت على البريكس.
Ah, but see, you know how to do this. This texture sample, so you select a texture from the content browser, you hold T and press left click, you get the texture sample. Type, I use the node called lerp. Okay, lerp expects two inputs. The first picture, the second picture, and an alpha constant. Actually, alpha is the number between 0 and 1. 0 means the first picture. If it's 0, it will display the first picture, only the brick. If it's 1, it will display the second picture. If it's anything in between, it will display a mixture of both. Okay? But I want to see more of the wall than the dirt, than the actual dirt.
Shift towards the wall.
So if I will shift the number, the 0.5 towards the 0. So I'll take a smaller number like 0.15 for example. Oh, that's too small. 0.25. Now you can see some of the dirt on the wall. Are you guys seeing this?
You can do it in the box so they can see it.
Yeah. So if you want to like try a different shape than a sphere, there are the different shapes here. So there's a cube. It's not the best thing ever. And if you want to like make it look a bit more realistic, we can add the normal map again. So are you guys in this? Lerp, linear interpolate. If you type lerp, yeah, linear interpolate.
Can everyone find it?
Are you guys okay?
بعد ما
Guys, so please, can you just say yes, you know? Okay.
I have no idea.
So, we'll try to make it a bit realistic, more realistic. So it's quite rough now. So maybe you can add the normal map again. Let's try an operation called masking. Okay. So what would masking do is the same thing we did with taking the green channel only.
picture samples.
But we can start to mix two different normal maps. So I'll take the normal map of the brick wall, okay, and then take a normal map of a rock, for example. So it's like a rocky brick wall sort of texture. I'll show you how or what I mean. So first of all, we will minimize this.
You have to drag it.
I'll go back and go at the top. You'll find the normal map of the brick wall. Select it. Go back to the material editor. Hold T and press left click. So we got the normal map. Alright. Now there is the function I was talking about. It's called
This is your base. So you're creating this. Sorry.
component mask. Right, so if you type mask, alright, you will find something called component mask.
It's too strong.
Alright, you guys got this? Alright, so component mask, as it says now, it's gonna mask only the R and G channels. It's gonna leave the blue. Okay, so this is an interesting way we can just take some of this information and then we can add it to another normal map and we can have like a combined normal map effect, the one I was talking about. So this is just gonna give us the depth of the rocks, of the bricks I mean, but we want to make them feel a bit rocky as well. They're not just bricks, they're like rocky bricks. Okay, they're quite rough in their appearance. So I'll go back and
Why are we specifically taking the blue? Why not the other?
anything, but we can look at the texture and see which channels are more detailed. If we,
which picture it chooses from. Okay. So if you choose from down, it's going to
مفيش ملوك خالص بالظبط.
these seem to have a bit more detail than the blue one. That's why we take the RGs.
لو النمبر closer to 0 يبقى هيبقى more A ولو closer to 1 هيبقى more B.
وعموما في النورمال مابس هو الريد والجرين هما
For example, a constant.
اللي بيعملوا more effect يعني.
لا, there's no hard rule to it. Yeah. You can do whatever you want, but the usual, they just take the RNGs. So you can take the G and B, whatever.
ممكن نخليها فوق.
Okay. Right, so I'll select it and go back to. I closed it apparently without saving. Okay, press save, people, or else you will face the same problem as me now. Just get back what we did quickly.
معناه انك توصل ايمج.
Yeah, maybe that's okay. Thank you for. Well, I didn't connect it before, so.
لا.
Okay. So this Perlin noise image, it has only white and black in it. Okay. So you remember the whole. This lerp function will display when 0, it will display this. When it's white, it will display this. And if it's anything in between, it will display a mixture. Okay? So this image has black areas, it has gray levels, different gray levels. So when I used it, it will be displaying, like, you know, when there's a white part, it will display this. Sorry, it will display this. And when there is a black part, it will display the whole. And it's just a randomization. If you don't want it, you can just use the constant that we were using, like 0.25 or something, to get the whole again. I'll just remove it and use the constant because it's giving us a better look, I guess. But this is just the idea of it. If we use constant. Okay, so yeah, back to the normal map scenario. Okay. All right, and then the right click, the component mask. I'll take that. So when I like pressed on the arrow here and the mask is only showing the RNG channels, as we said before. Only the RNGs. Okay? Now I'm gonna add this normal map to another normal map. Okay, so I'll go back and save really quick, and then I'll minimize this and go for let's try to see a normal map of a rock. Okay, so there's the T underscore detail rocky normal map. Okay, I'll press it and I'll go back to the material editor. Press T and the same operation again. Now we want to add these two images, so we're just going to use an add node. Alright, so if I hook this with the A and I grab the RGB of this normal map with the B and then press this arrow, you'll find a black image. Like, what the hell went wrong? We're supposed to see something. But it's just because of how the engine like understands these operations. So this is just a vector of only two components. There's a missing third component. So we're trying to add a 2 and a 3 component vectors. It's not going to work. It's producing an error here. So we need to just append this last component to this vector, and we can make it 0. So we're going to do that right now. Something called append vector. So I'll right click here and then press append vector. So I'm going to grab this output from the RNG. So this is only the 2 components of the 3 component vector we're after. And the B component, I'm just going to set it to 0. Okay. Right, so how can we set it to 0?
Int.
Hmm?
Int.
Yeah, we need a constant. If you right click and you type constant, this is just a number that you can set. It's initially the default is 0, so I'm just going to plug it into the B. So now we have a vector that is R and G, the R and G values of this normal map. Okay, and the blue value is just 0. Okay, I'm gonna take this output and I'm gonna hook it to the A input here. All right, and then I added. This was already added to the B. It's already connected. So now, if you see, this normal map is added to this, so it's a bit of, a rocky, bricky normal map. Okay. If I take this and then this addition output and I connect it to the normal map, now you're gonna see some interesting effects. It's like a bricky wall, and we can increase the amount of dirt as well to make it look more interesting. You can also add some specular stuff if you have the map for it, to add shininess and things like that. You can maybe play with a constant, for example. If you want the rock to look a bit shiny, we can try now. So if you press right click and you type constant, if you increase by the constant, it will start to, look a bit, to give some reflections of. Okay? Are you guys following? Were you able to reach this stage though? Okay. This is just an introduction. We only used just a couple of the nodes. A few nodes only from the huge amount of nodes available. So people go crazy with what you can do with materials. This is just a very simple example. You can create flowing lava and stuff, but I think this is good to today, and Kareem can show you other stuff, and also the whole texture creations part. Maybe you can show them how to animate the texture here with the panning and the timing and all that.
Create a model.
Huh?
I'm just a model.
Yeah, maybe. But I think now you have an idea of what we're doing. So this is these are all operations done on images, just 2D normal images that we use, to give this effect here. So this is like how games are, they get the walls and stuff done. Just a combination of normal maps, diffuse maps, specular, and stuff like that. No black magic involved. Okay. I think my part here is done. I'll leave Kareem with the texture and stuff. You probably should have GIMP installed by now. Okay.
Is there anyone who doesn't have it? GIMP? No, I installed it for you. Standalone. Yeah, Photoshop. Whatever you want to. Some GIMP is going to probably be easy to download it, but you're using whatever you want. No Photoshop?
مش منزل عندك اندرويد. انا نزلته قبل لا مش حاول حاجه بسيطه لا ماشي بتدوس شويه دوسه واحده بتروح بقى كده تدوس رايت مش عارف خالص مش عارف هل ده انيميشن وهل ده روتيشن عادي ولا لا بس انا عايزه روتيشن يبقى كأنه
Guys,
فيزيكي كده.
just first, before I get into GIMP, I want to show you, I kept telling you the difference between specular and roughness. So you haven't actually seen it, he hasn't showed you. So, I'll show you now. Oh, you don't have it installed? Okay. Okay. So, like I said, I want to show you the difference between specular and roughness. So I'll just remove the normal map so you can see better. I'll put this away. And in fact, we can just, here, I'll create a new node that's going to be a constant 3 vector. This way I can just put any color I want. You guys don't have to follow along, I'm just trying to show you. So let's say I put a blue texture. Okay? And here, you can see that it's kind of shiny. Okay? Now what happens if I add one roughness? The shininess, it's hard to see, but it's more spread out. Okay? Now if, on the other hand, I make it constant, like 0.2, you can see that it's really, okay, you guys can't really see, but if you look here, you can actually see the clouds around it and stuff like that. That's because it's not as bumpy. What roughness does is it actually deals with the micro details on it. So because there are very few micro details, if you look closely, like really closely, there wouldn't be tiny bumps. And therefore, it can spread out kind of like a mirror. But anyway, let's get on to actually creating textures. So launch game. There we go. Now there are two ways that game developers make textures. Okay. One way is to create it by hand, which is what we're going to be doing. And the other way is to actually take pictures of whatever you want, then put it in GIMP or Photoshop, and then just fix it so it looks good in game. Okay? But we don't have any pictures, and plus it's a really annoying process. So I'll just create it just to show you. Now afterwards I'll put it in game, and then when we create like a wood material or whatever we'll create, I'll show you how to create water. It sounds like I'm on an island. Instead of creating fire, I'm going to create water. This, wow. Okay, this is going to take a while. You know what? I'm just going to show you how to create the water material now. Okay? So first off, let's actually put the material in game. Okay? So I'm going to go to content, or actually no. Here on the side panel, I'm going to drag out a cube. Okay? If anyone has any questions, just tell me. Then I'm going to go to where I stored the material. Where did you store it? Okay. I'm going to go to where I stored it and then just drag it on. There we go. There's your material. So anyway, let's start by creating water. So I'm going to start blank, and well, actually, let's look at some pictures of water. Okay, because when you're creating something, it's good to have a reference. So let's say we want to create a lakeside water. And here you can see, what you mainly see is just that it has bumps and stuff. There's also refraction, which is the bending of light when it reaches a different material, and reflection, which is obvious. So let's start by trying to create the movement of the water. So I'm going to drag, I'm going to create a texture. Of the water. Oh. Okay. Well, in that case, okay, we don't have a water material, a water texture. We could download one, but instead of that, I will drag it out. I'm going to create a multiply node, and then drag this into a constant 3. And make it blue.
What sample did you use?
Water M. Did everyone find water M? Everyone has this so far?
I didn't find what.
Okay. Looks funky. Create a new material, a new texture. Right click. Texture. Sample. Yeah, there, texture sample. Click on the drop down. Yeah. Write water. Water M. Yeah. Did everyone find it? M. Oh. N is for normal.
ليه عملت multiply مش dirt؟
مش ايه؟
مش dirt.
Because we're not lerping between two things. We could create a lerp now to try and remove the black.
هو ايه التكستشر؟
It,
اللي هو اللي تحت التكستشر التاني
ده?
color.
It's a constant. I just added a blue color.
How do you add this?
You create a constant 3. It says constant 3 back. Can everyone find it?
No.
Yeah, this constant 1. Try again. Okay, constant. Constant 3. And then just make it blue.
Not make blue.
Eh?
How do you do?
if you click on it, you can click on the constant square and make it whatever color you want.
Double click on it.
Okay. So let me explain what I just did. I created an ad. Well, here, let me preview this so you can see what we have. This is what the step that we were just on. Basically, it's black, and instead of the white that was in the texture, we made it blue by multiplying the color. Okay? Obviously, black, when you multiply black by 0, 0, 0, 0 by any color will be 0. And white times any color is going to be whatever the color is. Because it's not actually 0 to 255. In materials, it's 0 to 1, technically. Okay? So where it's white, it's going to be 1. And when you multiply 1 by anything, you get the same thing.
You created two blue colors.
Just focus on this for now. Okay? So I created blue color and the texture sample. When I multiply them, I get this. I don't know if you can see clearly, but it's blue. Okay? So then I created another color, a darker blue, and when I add to it, you can see that it's actually blue. Anyone have any problems?
I don't get how you got the blue of the color.
You mean this step or this step?
No, the actual colors.
Oh, how I got the colors? Did you create a constant 3? No, this is constant 1. Yeah. So create constant 3. There you go.
بعدين عملت add بعد كده.
Yeah, I added the color so that whatever it is, when you add this color, it's going to obviously be that plus that color. And obviously you can't go higher than 1, so it's automatically capped at 1. Yeah.
What color
Yeah. No, because it's still on black. Go back in. Go to blue. Drag up this, because this is the darkness. Here. Someone just asked me a question. If you click here, over here you can try find the hues that you want. Okay, the reds, the greens, the blues. But you can also get the saturation by making it closer to the center. There's less saturation. And then bringing it down here is the same thing. It's less saturation. And then here you deal with the darkness. So if you're stuck at black, it's going to stay black. Yeah.
هو المالتيبلاير نود كان بيعمل ايه تاني؟ او محتاجين نريد معنى صح.
Okay, so we have our bright blue color. When we multiply it by the texture, whenever we have white, it's going to get the same color. Whenever we have black, it's going to get 0. And whatever is in between will be whatever in between. So basically it just shifts the color from white to blue. Okay? Then we add it so that the background isn't black. Anyone have any problems? So let's apply this and then see it in game. There we go. Can everyone see their material in game? If you press the guys, if you press the box or the plane here, you could see it in different modes. It does the same. If you go here, you can drag it onto whatever you want. You have to apply.
How do you apply to the box?
You click on the material and you drag it.
Oh, okay.
On the box, on whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Yeah. If it's taking a while, then that means it's slow.
How do I take it to the...
How do what?
How do I do it?
نفس اللي عملناه عايز اكيد
Yes.
Go back. Should work now. Anyone who dragged it on and it's still black or whatever, be sure to press apply. It doesn't work unless you press apply.
هو ازاي وديته من هنا للناحية التانية البوكس؟
ايه؟
ازاي وديت الكالر من الكولر دي اللي كانت على جنب البوكس؟
تاني؟
ازاي وديت الكالر للبوكس؟ بعد ما الكالر ازاي وديت البوكس؟
You mean the physical box that you see here?
ازاي خلصت الحتة دي؟
Do supply. Click here and drag it on to, or find the material and then drag it on. It's probably in content. Press content. Content. No. Remove water. You're searching for water. Delete. Then just drag it on. Yeah. If you want, you can resize the box so it looks like an actual body of water. But we're just dealing with material now, so it doesn't really matter. If you want to do that, you can go here to scale and increase the size to, let's say, 20 by 1 by 20. No, I mean 20 by 20 by 1. There we go. Now, as you can see, the size has increased dramatically as well. Now, that's a problem, right? Because we don't want the size of the water to have huge waves. So now we're going to go into the thing that Don didn't explain, UVs. UVs are the coordinates of the texture, okay? So if you create a texture coordinate, text coordinate or texture coordinate, it's going to get you the UVs. And let me show you what you will see if you preview it. There we go. So this goes from 0 and 0 to 1 and 0 to 1 and 0 and 1 to 1 and 1. Okay? So this basically tells the image where in the texture we should look for. Okay? So obviously this is going to be the top of the image and this is going to be the side. So if we want to tile it, what we're going to do is we're going to move it, again multiply, put this in here, then drag this to the UV. And then we can multiply it by whatever we want and it's going to tile. So let's multiply by 0.02, for example. And then stop preview, apply. Oh, this is going to be way too much. Yeah, you can't even see it. Okay, let's go back here and multiply it by something more realistic. Yeah, you multiply it up to get more copies of it. Okay? So
by 4?
Yeah, 4 will make 4 copies of the texture. So when I press apply, you'll see that it looks much more realistic. I wouldn't say realistic this time. Okay?
We multiplied by 4, right?
Yeah. It's just an example. You can multiply it by whatever times you want to multiply by. Okay? Okay. Again, text coord is the coordinates of the texture. Okay? So when we bring it in, it's going to tell us where in the texture that we're going to look for. Okay? So the top left of the texture is going to be 0 and 0. The bottom right of the texture is going to be 1 and 1. Okay? So here's 0, 0, 1 and 1. Here's 1 and 0, and here's 0 and 1. And between it is a combination of the two values. Okay? So when you multiply it, you're going to increase the amount of times that it's going to show up. Okay? So that here it's going to be 4 and 4. So it's going to look at the material. It's going to say here's 1 and 1. So then we start another copy of the texture. Then we start another copy of the texture, and then another one. Okay? Do you guys get it?
Multiplied by كام بقى؟
I multiplied by 4. So that means you're going to have 4 copies of the texture. Okay? That's confusing, so if you guys have a problem.
هي text code فين عشان مش عارف ايه.
You right click and you search texture coordinate. Find it?
اه صح كنت بكتب text code بس.
Yes.
When you multiply by 4, you multiply it, I mean in each row, you have 4 textures, or in the whole thing you have 4 copies?
You have, here would be like 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we have 4 by 4.
Yes, 4 by 4. Okay? So everyone get it? Okay, now the problem is here the water isn't moving. Okay? So we want the water to flow, obviously. So now we're going to change the UV again. Let's right click and write panel. Okay? Now if we put panel directly in,
Right click, this comes to you.
yes, panel.
When it comes to you.
And then we give it a value for the speed. You can see that it's moving. Okay?
Just an A, can you?
Create panel. P-A-N-N-E-R. Did everyone find panel? Find it? Okay, I know I'm going slow, so if I'm going, sorry, I'm going fast. If I'm going fast, tell me. Okay?
Can you?
Okay? You go into the banner and then you write the speed that you want it to be. So I'm going 0.1 by 0.1 so that it flows this way. Okay?
Speed X.
Does everyone get it? Okay. So what I did after that is I created click here. Find the color that you want. Then you do the same thing for whatever you did on the example. So do the same for app. You then drag the panel on. Okay, who's behind? Yes. What's the problem? Okay, it's working fine. Okay, so everyone should have the water flowing by now, right? It's working? Okay. But now the texture is stretched again. So what we're going to do is drag the multiply into the coordinates. There we go. Now you can see that the water is flowing, but is also copied. Meshi? Okay. I took the multiply value that I put into the texture, and instead of putting it into the texture, I put it into the panel in coordinates. Okay? Everyone get it?
I don't get why we did this.
So that we can get the water to flow. We put the panel to get the water to flow. We put the multiply so we can repeat it. So it's not like, in the beginning it was just like huge waves, okay? We don't want that. So we multiply. Yes?
التكست كوردينيت ده احنا بنجيب حته من التكست نفسها هو عمل مالتبلاي بنخلي الانتيتي ده يتعاد تاني عشان كانها يبقى ويفز كتير
مش فاهم حاجه.
Can you explain it to him?
text coordinate
How?
Sorry.
It moves here, but it doesn't move in.
عندك الكود just text جميل تكسر دي هي عناصر بتتحط على حاجه
ليه؟
تكسر دي السيجا دي فيها ضغط حلو تكسر بوردر دي عادي وده مش عايز اي حاجه بس احنا عايزين نجربها مثلا الصور دي هنا وعندي عايز البوزيشن ده حلو فانت تجيب البوزيشن ده هيكون في حاجه معينه او ممكن مالتبلاي تخلي الصوره دي انت عايز في التكسر ده في حاجه حاضر التكسر دي في حاجه حاضر حلو
It's also we're going to get into more complex stuff.
تتحرك يبقى شكل كأن في ويف
YouTube. You might want to join some of the laptop. Actually, we're going to get into reflections.
ايوه عشان نعمله الفيديو عشان ده مالتبلاي بتخلي ان الحته دي تبان اكتر من مره على الصوره نفسها.
Okay.
انا فهمت
Jude, you forgot to add. Oh, you're previewing the one. If you preview here, it's going to show you.
ما كانش فيه
Just you're previewing this. Okay, so yeah, it'll show you the full. Or even better is to remove the preview. The final result. Anyway, so now that I've showed you how to get water that flows. Yes. Yeah.
عايز انزل البيرفكت فوليوم الوتر اللي عندي سبيس هو الرئيس الظراف والنفط
بس عشان محطوط في الارض يعني
So anyway, now I'm going to go into two other things, okay? Reflections and refractions, and transparency. Okay. So, let's all click on the material that we have, okay? Now on the left you can see opaque. Obviously water isn't opaque, okay? It's transparent. So let's actually make it translucent. Yeah, you guys should see another value that's open now, that's white, called opacity, okay? So if you make this, if you drag this over here, you should see, just as an example, just to show you. You should see that it has opacity as soon as it builds. There. So you guys can see that there's these few things that are going on. What we actually want to do, I was just doing that to show you that there is opacity. Okay? Now I'm not going to go into the complex viewing mechanics of water. Like you know that if you view water from a certain angle, it's not opaque at all. I mean, it's not translucent at all. It seems opaque. But if you view it from top down, it seems transparent. Okay, we can deal with that, but it's complicated. And it's 6 o'clock, so I guess you guys don't want to deal with that now. So let's just drag this out, create a constant, and just give it whatever value of transparency that you want. So let's say 0.5. Okay? Now let's also drag a specular in. Okay? So we want it to have a reflection. Come on. If we go down to, where is it? There, screen space reflections. And then you press apply. You should, whenever it loads, whenever it loads. Okay, doesn't seem to be working. Then we have a problem somewhere. Just a second, guys. I'll get back to you in a second.
تفاصيل خالص.
Just actually ignore what I'm doing for now. I'm just trying to find out right there. There, it does work. Okay, it's just hard to see. So what I basically did, you guys saw how I got that really bright reflection before, right? We bring up the specular as high as we want and lower the roughness, okay? So if we create a roughness of 0.2 or 0.1 and a specular of 1 and drag them in, and then hit apply, we can kind of barely see that you have the reflection over here. Okay? To do that, you need to have screen space reflection on. Okay?
بس انا بوصل للستاك الرفنس بنود واحد قسم واحد وحسب كده استنى ولا
Okay, whatever. It's not really working with the translucency, so let's just disable it for now. Instead, let's start working on refraction. Okay, here at the bottom you can see refraction. We could just give it an arbitrary value like 0.5. And when we hit apply, there. You can see that his legs are kind of cut. That's because of the refraction. Okay? I'm going fast, I know. Refraction. Same as the class. Specular and roughness is a group refraction.
Can you make a refraction due to constant?
I gave it a random constant. I gave it 0.5. Give it whatever you want. This is the computer's. Put a random object.
Okay.
Holy cow, what the hell what happened? Oh, so it's working. But for some reason the skybox is really messed up. Oh my god, so slow. I guess if you build it, it'll work. I don't know, just try and disable it. Yes. This is it.
If you're standing in the how they do it?
I just have a random object in the water. Yum yum. Cheap. I guess it's not cut. Into water. Yes.
هو في مشكلة هنا هو كأنه
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like that. The thing is, this is actually key that you're supposed to track.
اوكي وهنا في refraction.
ما عندكش refraction.
مفيش refraction.
Guys, if you guys want to walk into the cube, you have to go down into block all under collision and select no collision. Okay? Now there's only one more thing that I'm going to teach you about materials today because we did a lot of material stuff. It's in collision under collision presets.
Of the box itself.
Yeah. Say your character can walk on water, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, let me just test something before I actually tell you about it. Like I said, just ignore what I'm doing for now. The very best of you will have been ignoring what I've been doing since the beginning.
بالنسبة للموضوع ممكن بالفيديو بيساعد الواحد بيساعد على كود حاجة لكن بص
Okay, so by now I guess you guys are kind of disappointed that the water has been flat so far. Okay? So now we're going to move into water with bumps. Kind of. Oh wow. All or nothing, huh? ماشي. It's like the water's trying to stab him or something. Okay, this isn't the best presentation of it, so I'm just trying to show you the concept. Now, if we go under wireframe, we can see what's actually happening. What you see here is something called tessellation. You might have heard of it before. Basically, the concept is that you have a plane, but the closer you get to the plane, the more tiny triangles and squares there are, so that there's more detail. Now, when we add a displacement to that, we can make it bump. Okay? So the way I did it is I went into the material, down in tessellation. I set PN triangles. Okay? That allows it to just be squares. It doesn't bump anything. I'll explain to you in a few minutes what's happening. Or also after class, we're done with this section. But anyway, I dragged the texture sample, the black and white one, over to multiply. I multiplied by a random constant which represents the strength, or the height of the water, and then I just put it in world displacement.
Can you repeat this?
Okay. We have the water that's subdivided, صح? Okay. We want to tell the water what height should it be. ماشي? So we do that in world displacement. We give it a value that gives it the vertex and offset. Okay? So if the vertex of the water is here, okay? Whatever. If it's here, and we want it to go up and down, okay? We're going to give it this value, okay? So that this way it's that the waves is going like this, okay?
How do you do with that?
I drag the texture sample into multiply. The multiply constant represents the strength of it, the height of the water. And then I just put it in world displacement. I multiply it by 5. This is just serves as an example, okay? You guys can probably work on much better water at home. Like, yeah, let me show you some of the water that is included in the Unreal Engine. That they didn't spend like 20 minutes working on to khalas. There we go. There's some water.
Ours is better.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah? Because you put it in tessellation modifier. Put it in world displacement, not tessellation modifier. Anyway,
الكونستنت ده حط كل سبيس انت قلت فين؟
multiply طبعا خليها الفاليو multiply ده هيأثر على الوول.
no, it's just for multiplication.
الوول
You have to clean up your notes. Okay. If you have this, multiply it by the constant and by this. You're previewing the so start preview. If you guys aren't seeing the effect, be sure that you're not previewing any node. Then apply. I hope to God that you have that. Okay. So, like I said, if you guys actually want to create water this beautiful, waste hours and hours of your time doing that, you can. There are tons of tutorials about how to create this stuff. And there's going to be the video online about how to create the very basic city water that I've created. I'll probably try to create a better version at home to put in the video. But it'll include the same concepts. Anyway, so let's actually start creating a texture. Does everyone have GIMP? Who doesn't have GIMP? Or Photoshop? Okay, so if you have GIMP, when you launch it, you should see this, right? Okay, I'll give you a minute to launch. Then just double click on this. Is it working? You're still going to install the data. You have the laptop?
يا اخوة بس التوفيق معك كان عنده حاولت تسيب عندي بيدخل بس فالفكرة ان انا اسيبه عشان لسه discussion
Sometimes Epic Games launchers are real pain in the ass. There's no way to go around. When it's done, you stop. The steps are kind of obvious. Does everyone else have either Photoshop or GIMP? Yeah? Okay. So, pick something. Something in this room that you want to recreate. A complex texture. Yeah. So let's do the tiles, for example. You have to do something complicated. So let's deal with the tiles, which is simple and geometric, and then go into it. Okay. So let's start by pressing Control N, or going into File, New. Whatever you want. you can do 2048 by 2048, but that's going to kill your processor. Maybe 1024, 512. It depends on where you're going to use the texture. So, if going back to the mug that we were creating last time, okay? If you're going to create a mug that you're going to see once that you're not going to get a close view of, you're going to use a very small texture, maybe even 64 by 64. Okay? But if it's something that you see a lot, something that's important that has high quality, you want it to be 1024 by 1024 or above. Does anyone have any questions? I heard it on. I'm not creating it new because of that. I'm creating because it's not square. Your textures have to be square in size. And it's usually to the power of 2. Or 2 to the power of something. So like 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 4 by 4, 8 by 8, 16 by 16, 32, 64, 128, 512, 256, etc. Yeah. Why are you drawing in class?
Huh?
Why are you drawing in class?
It's
It's not square. Hey. Make sure it's okay.
You said 512.
I said 512 or 1024, not both.
That's what you made.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you made it the wrong size, like he did, go to canvas size and then just change it to whatever you want. Okay? Mine is 1024 by 1024. Yeah. You can go into image, canvas size, 1024 by 1024. Are you using GIMP or Photoshop? ايه؟ Set the width menu. This is Mac, it probably has Photoshop. Okay, so everyone's following? Okay. So actually, let me just show you that you can put something inside also. Draw whatever you want, okay? So you click File, Export As, save it wherever you want, okay? And then name it whatever you want. Yes, everything I create has to be named potato. It's just there for us. It's not like people are going to look in the files and say, hey, they created a texture called potato when it's actually a heart. Anyway, so now we want to actually put it in. We can go to this complicated desktop that has too many images, or too many icons, and find the images that we want. When we drag it into Unreal, you can see it here. Then you can just drag it in, and there we go. This is the worst thing I've ever created. Okay, it's not even working. Whatever. Oh, probably. Can't even see the bottom.
So desktop, daar weet je niet zo.
What? Okay, I'm going to create a cube and put it on that so you can see it. There we go. You're stupid. Anyway, so let's actually create something sophisticated. Oh, by the way, there are some artists that paint the actual textures. Okay, so if you find like a really cartoony game, sometimes they use their digital pencils, digital pens to actually create something that looks more cartoony and it's more interesting. But the way we're going to do it, we're trying to recreate realism. Okay, so often the paint doesn't get the job done. So, okay, patterns, filters, it's called. So what we're going to do first is we're going to try and divide it into 4. Okay? Because like if we have the entire image for one tile, it seems like a waste. We want to create some variety between the tiles. Okay? So let's go to what was it? View? No. Image, configure grid, and then set it to whatever size you want. I'm going to set it to half size, 512 by 512. Then go to view, show grid, and you can see a couple lines. Those aren't going to be in the actual grid. Okay? You know how to create a grid in Photoshop.
And view and then
View, show grid. I also did snap grid so that I can be more accurate. Okay? Everyone's following?
not too great.
Yeah, I just created it. So anyway, I'm going to start creating the actual tiles. Okay? So I'm going to create like 2 boxes here. And then I'm going to go to select, shrink, and shrink it by a number that represents the gap. Okay? So here, this is going to be our gap. Look really close. Actually, I think that it's not working properly because it's... Okay, let me try this again. Let's try do it one by one. Oh no, it's probably just stretched because the screen is really bad. Okay. So if what? Where? Okay. So this seems bigger than this, but in actuality it's the same size. Yes.
I was saying how to make the grid 4 عشان أنا عندي مالي البتاع كله.
You have to configure the size.
Okay.
Why do you have to go to image, configure grid. Make it 512 by 512 in the spacing. Spacing width and height. Configure grid.
After you select
كام وكام؟
I select it and then I go to select shrink. And I made it by shrink by 2. That means that it's 2 pixels less. So it was 512 by 512 and now it's 508 by 508. What?
they have to do it one at a time?
Lose control. What?
They have to do it one at a time?
No, I did 2 at a time. The reason I did 2 at a time is because otherwise you're selecting everything. And it's going to be basically one big square.
Yeah, let's do it.
Mish, 2 at a time is fine. I did it 2 at a time. Then just fill with a random color. Okay? So I went to the paint bucket and I just filled it. Did I hear my name?
كريم ازاي بتسلكت وتطلع
So I'll just show you the example. Okay?
ايوه انا عارف حاطط جريدز
You press on this icon at the top left, the rectangle select tool. Okay? You drag 2 boxes. Okay? One like this, and then shift and create another one. Okay? Automatically it should snap to the sides if you have view snap to grid and select. And then if you go to select, shrink, and then shrink it by the size that you want, press OK, you'll see that it's smaller. Okay?
You select shrink.
And then if you fill it in, you can continue working without having to worry that your work is ruined. Yeah.
How do you shrink it?
Select, shrink. Make it 2. Yes.
Mr. Shrink like this.
وعمال أطلع لك كام جزء وعملت في الاثنين دول.
Make sure snap to grid is selected, otherwise you're going to have a hard time.
No, راجل. You just fill it. Having fun with the grid? Go to view. View.
show grid. بعدين view snap grid. Okay, so now, yes.
أنا مش عارف أعمل two فيها.
Did you have the two squares selected?
لا.
Select two squares. Don't do it from. It has to be exact. No, go to view. Snap grid. Everyone has to have view. Everyone should have view snap to grid selected. Otherwise, you're gonna have problems. Now press shift and do it again. Create the second box. Must. You have.
عملت سناب
What?
خلاص هو اختار
Then create one, shift, create the other. ماشي. So now I want to create the other two tiles, but for some reason, let's say my hand broke, I don't want to continue, or I want to explain to the class something, or the workshop, whatever you want to say. I'm just going to duplicate this by right-clicking and pressing duplicate. Okay? And then I'm going to go to layer, transform, flip horizontal. Then I'm going to click the one, select the white, and press delete. Oh, you have to make sure that you have. Okay. You have to make sure that you have the alpha channel selected. Okay, so right click and add alpha channel. That allows you to have transparency on in this layer. So when you delete, you should have this. Okay? Oh,
Duplicate.
duplicate. Right click, duplicate. Right click, add alpha channel. Layer, not image. Transform, flip horizontal. Magic wand, which is actually a magic wand. Click on the white and delete. Okay? Did you shrink? This you don't have 4 tiles. You just have 4 black tiles. You didn't shrink. When you select, you have to go here, shrink by 2.
I flipped it.
Who has a Mac and got it to work? No one?
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. أكيد لازم. Cut it. Halfway point. Yeah.
I flipped, but I can't delete the right.
عملنا دوبليكيت وبعدين
هات ألفا channel.
انت عملت هوريزونتال لا
What you did it. You deleted it. Selected it. Alpha channel. The alpha channel allows you to have transparency in your layer. You guys have a problem?
انا عملتها في الهواء انت عملتها
Okay. So now you should have 4 black tiles. Now obviously these aren't 4 black tiles. We want to actually create some. First off, let's merge this. Okay? So I'm going to right click and press merge down. Now that I have that done, I'm going to invert. So colors invert. Then I'm going to go to colors, and try and get the hue that I want, the color that I want. Okay? So this is a kind of yellow, right?
Do you mind if we open this window?
Okay, you have to go to, I'll go back to the beginning. Colors, invert. Did you merge it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, colors, invert, and then colors, colorize. Colorize allows you to change the colors of other. Okay? So let's say I try and get the yellow of the ground. Okay?
Is it merged down?
What?
Is it merged down?
Yeah.
And in the garden, colors aren't.
Yeah. What? You have to change the lightness. Change the lightness first because otherwise you can't actually see the color. Yes.
Merge it down and the colors.
Eh? Explain the price. Okay. I'm gonna explain it one more time. Okay?
Lightness will change.
Eh?
I change the lightness with the.
Change the lightness first. Okay.
Then
Is everyone did the step, right?
لا بس
You're not there?
يعني قبل
Let's duplicate. There. There. Transform horizontally. Add alpha channel. Select the white. Cut. And then merge that. Okay. So now everyone should be at this step or at a later step. Okay? So first off, select everything by pressing Control A. Okay? So then you press colorize and invert, which allows us to have the colors obviously inverted. Okay? You might want to remove the grid by now, because it might get annoying. So view, show grid, and use snap grid. We'll disable it. Anyway, then I'm going to go to colorize. Color, then colorize. Not color balance. I'm going to lower the lightness so that I can actually see it, because this is pure white otherwise. Changing the hue of white isn't going to do anything. So I'm going to lower it a bit and try and find the color that I want. There we go. Yeah, someone say my name? Okay. I guess I'm becoming schizophrenic. Anyway, so let's actually put the tiles in a different layer. Okay. So use the wand again. Select the 4 tiles by clicking and pressing Shift on each of them. Then press Control X to cut. New layer. Just say OK. Automatically. Just you don't have to read it. And then paste. Okay. Now you should have a floating layer. So when you anchor it, there's an actual anchor image here. You can bring this out. You can't really see it. This is an anchor image. When I press it, the tiles themselves should be on a layer, and the seams between them should be on a layer. No? Okay, who's having a problem so far? Okay, what's your problem?
selecting all of the file.
You have to have this first. Magic wand.
Okay.
Then Control X, Control V. Control X, new layer. Control V. Select magic wand. Because you are already set. Create a box.
أول عبارة عن
Addition to 2.
Jersey.
أنا بكتبها بوصل إيه؟ هو الإمبريك
Social media. Rectangular. Esa cosa me
عارف الباور ماكس؟ في عارف المايكروسوفت سيرفيس؟ الاساس بتاعه بيكون 5 فولتس في حبة كده بيستعمل بمايكرو يو اس بي في حبة بياخد البتاع بمايكرو يو اس بي نفس الدي يعني بس معنى كده ممكن تشتغل ايوه
You guys having a problem?
انا فضلت امشي ورا حبة ستابس كده ما كنتش عارف اللي حصل
You know, let's just delete this. No, the entire loop. Is this the entire size or did you shrink?
لا اكسبكت في الاربعة
Modificate. Transform. Some right click. You didn't shrink. Okay. Can you do it in the open? I'm sorry, but the thing is I'm trying to show everyone. Who's at this step? Are you guys at this step? I know you don't have to respond. Okay. It's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to try. If I hurry up, you guys are going to get Nish, I'll try finish it quickly, but it's not too fast. Okay? If anyone has problems, say so. If enough of you have problems, I'm going to stop. Otherwise, I'm going to continue and then tell you at the end. Okay? So if you look closely at the floor, you should see that it's speckled. It has a little bit of noise in it. Okay? It's not like pure yellow, beige, whatever it is. So let's create another layer. And then go into filters, noise, error. Yes, that sounds disgusting. Press randomize so you have a new value. And then desaturate, okay? Because all of these are bright orange or dark brown or something, okay? So you guys should see this if you're close up. Why is it yellow? Whatever. When you guys go to colorize and you guys can set the color, now you can just go to darken only. Wow. Allah.